I'm so awkward, but hi guys, welcome back to another video. Um, I'm Tamia. Yeah, anyways, today is gonna be a bookish video. I already recorded this video and then it won't save to my iPad. So I do all my editing on my iPad. The screen is cracked and I'm not about to let y'all judge me. Actually, this is a judgment-free area, but I did everything on my iPad. I actually have some notes for this video right now, but I edited on my iPad and I recorded the original video and it won't save. So we have to redo this. We have to redo it. And I have to post this video at the start of the month, like earlier in the month, or it's just not like the type of video I need it to be. Welcome back to another video. It's been a minute. I'm sorry, but it's okay because I'm gonna try and get back into the swing of things here soon. But today's a book video and I've never recorded a book video before, but why not start today? Well, a few days ago, if I could have, you know, got my video uploaded, the OG video, but it's okay. Today I'm gonna be talking about like all things book related, so books I've read the past 2 months, books I DNF'd, and books I plan on reading in the month of March. So to get started, books I read in February and January, it's one book. But that's because I be busy, I be life and life be life in me. But that's okay. The one and only book is also 5 star. So I guess it's like I'm still starting my year off strong. But the one book I read was If You Could See the Sun by Anna Liang, and I absolutely loved this book down. Like when I say loved down, I mean loved down. This book has my heart, but mostly because the author, Miss Liang, wrote a character with depth, with feeling, with a personality, and one that the oldest daughter in college can relate to. I don't even know, it's just so amazing. But I genuinely love this book. How do I? It's about this girl who can turn invisible, but she has no control over when she turns invisible. And so it's set in, I'm pretty sure, Beijing or just China. It's a international school there, and the main character is trying to grasp and take control of her reality, but that kind of doesn't work out when she can randomly start turning invisible during her last semester. So it's pretty fun, it's pretty cool, and then it's a slow burn romance incorporated into the story. Now, don't get me wrong, the romance is not the main factor in the story. We don't read, no, it's not the main factor, but it was done well and additionally added to the plot to where it's not taking away from the main character's journey. And her journey was so beautiful. Main character's name is Alice, by the way. She's a 18-year-old, just about finishing her last year in high school, trying to make it to college. Absolutely love that book. I recommend it to literally everyone. That's the one book I read. Sorry, I keep looking down my iPad, but that's the one book I read during the month of January, February, and I'm not saying I didn't try to read other books, but let's get into this next section. Books I DNF'd. So I have this thing where I will put a book down at the slightest inconvenience, or if one thing I don't like, I'm closing the book. Like, it's just, I'm not going to sit here, and it's not wasting time. Reading is not wasting time, but like, I could be enjoying something else more than what I'm reading at this point in time. And the first book I DNF'd was Tangleroot by Kalila Williams, and I will show you. This is Tangleroot. It's so beautiful, right? So beautiful, such a beautiful cover. It tricks you. And I didn't even get that far through to say it tricks you, but the reason that this book was DNF'd was because I got to a part of the book where the main character, her name is, I don't even remember, what is her name? Noni, Noni, Noni. Yeah. Her mother forces her to move out into the countryside, and then, I just blanked. Her mother forces her to move out to the countryside and then forces her to get a job. and the girl goes looking for a job. She can't find one anywhere, but when she's granted one, it's at an ex-slave home that's ran by a white woman who still makes people dress up like slaves. And it's like the whole point of the home is that it's like an old school plantation home, but it's not slavery. They're all inclusive, but they're literally dressed up as slaves. And then her mom laid it out for her, and she was like, "Well, it makes good money, and I won't even be dressed up as a slave." Huh? I put it down immediately. It was Black History Month. I was not messing with it because like what? Like what? The writing it's pretty good. It's like a high schooler type book. I am a sophomore in college, but that's not much of a difference, but it still makes a difference. But the writing wasn't bad, but like that just had me bent. Like, what do you mean you're about to? And I don't even know if she completely went through it. I don't even know. I'm gonna pick the book back up because my boyfriend bought it, and I don't like. That feels like a waste of money because I literally stood there for like 30 minutes deciding on if I wanted this book or not, and then ultimately decided to get it, and he paid for it. So I have to read it. So I'm gonna read it. It'll get read this year too, but not during Black History Month nor Women's Month. Don't play my face. Don't play my face. The next book that I ended up DNFing is What Moves the Dead by T. Kingfisher. This book was DNF'd mostly because of I was listening to audiobook, and the way that the audiobook was being read, not the way, but it's a book that I'd have to read, like actually read, like, and not like listen through audiobook because like I was just having a really hard time understanding everything that was being said and what was going on. And granted, I listen to my audiobooks in like two times speed. So if I can't understand you at two times speed and I slow it down to 1.25 and I still can't understand you, I'm not listening to the audiobook. It's just I'm not doing it. And so I dropped it. But I am going to pick this book back up as well because it's based off of a Gothic literature piece called The Fall of the House of Usher, and I read that in middle school, high school, either way, and I love it. I'm also a really big fan of Gothic literature either way, and so I do want to read it because I know it'll be amazing. I just can't listen to it on audiobook. And same goes for Y/N by Esther Yee. Don't know if I'm saying that correctly, but this one, it was just the way the character was articulating that makes me feel like I would need to have, or I would have to take the time to like slow down and read each line thoroughly. Like, I got through half the audiobook and I still had no idea what was going on. And so I was like, I'll just have to read this one, like, actually, like, you know, I don't think it was bad. Actually, from what I was hearing, I was actually quite intrigued in a weird way because it's actually a really weird book. But I'll need time to like digest everything that is coming at me and being said to me because Esther Yee or not Esther Yee, Y/N goes over it's like commentary on parasocial relationships between, I keep touching everything on my desk. Oh my god. It's commentary. Oh, it is commentary on parasocial relationships between fans and celebrities and the means or ways of which that Esther Yee went about attacking a controversial topic such as this one, especially in the K-pop industry, was so interesting. And the gears were turning just a little bit. They could be rotating at a constant speed, and that's not what they was doing. So I really do want to get into this book, and I'll have to either get it on my Kindle or actually we're supposed to be boycotting my Amazon Kindle. I'm trying my best, y'all, but I still haven't used my Kindle. But I'll probably end up getting something different or reading it through my Libby app anyways. So no more paying for Kindle, y'all. But yeah, those are all the books that I DNF'd. It just be minor inconveniences, y'all. I don't know. I just if it don't work out in the time and a lot amount of time goes by, I just won't get to it. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. But it's cool. It's all good. It's all good. Cause we gonna jump back into action. Cause my goal is to read 2 to 3 books a month. I don't know why I just forgot that, but 2 to 3 books a month would be perfect, even if it's an audiobook or a short book. But yeah. Anyways, now it's time to get into. You can kind of see the stack right here, but my March TBR, which is it's kind of big. My March TBR is, but I do have spring break next week, so I have just like extra time this month, and I don't have as much homework this week either. So this week, next week, or the week after, because it's like spring break month. I already took like most of my exams these past 2 weeks, so I give myself a little bit more leeway because I really want to see what all I can do this month. But the first book on my the first book on my March TBR will be Six Crimson Cranes by Elizabeth Lim. I don't know if that's her last name, but that's okay. I've had this book for a while. I don't really know what it's about. I just know the cover art is pretty and it's based off of Asian folklore or like traditional tales. But I'm not completely sure, but I will be giving it a read this month. I do have the audiobook, so I'll be able to follow the audiobook while I read, which makes things like 10 times easier for me. Book number two, let me do those last. Book number two is Final Offer by Lauren Asher. Okay, now hear me out. I am not a romance girly. Actually, like I recently, like when I like matured, like graduated high school, I recently got into romance. And the first series that I've ever read was Lauren Asher's, I don't even know what the Dreamland Billionaire series. That's what it is. Lauren Asher's Dreamland Billionaire series. And when I tell you I love the first two, and I got halfway through this one and then I had to DNF it. I didn't have to. A minor inconvenience, like I told you y'all. But I DNF'd it, and now I'm picking it back up because I read the first half and I was absolutely obsessed. Like when I say absolutely obsessed, I mean absolutely obsessed. And this book follows, well, if you don't know what the whole series is about, the whole series follows three brothers who essentially own, kind of sort of, they're working to gain their own portion of the company left to them by their grandfather. At the start of the series, their grandfather passed away and left three of them something, parts of their company in the will, but they have to accomplish something before they can get their part of the company. I don't know if I worded that right, but yes, I don't know. I just this one is about the youngest brother. The first one is about the middle brother. The second one is about the oldest brother. And as of right now, the second one is my favorite. But that's because I haven't finished this one. And I feel like when I finish this one, it's wraps. And I'm gonna love this one. This one follows Cal, who's the youngest brother, and this one is a second chance romance. And it's about addiction and all of that. And when I was reading the first half, I absolutely loved the like both characters had great development, and you can see the internal clock, the working of how Cal is. You just have to read it. I can't spoil too much, but this one will be getting finished this month, absolutely. And me and my boyfriend are going on a trip next weekend. Of course, I'm gonna read the romance book on the trip, like on the trip with just me, and my boyfriend. Like, why wouldn't I? You know. But there's that book. The next book will be Babel by R.F. Kuang. And if you're in the book community, book talk, booktube, anything, you know this woman's name holds some weight. And I've never finished one of her books. This is actually the first book of hers that I own. And I've started reading it before, and then it felt too complex for my mind at the time. I was like, I'm putting this off until I know, like, I'm ready for it. And now I want to read it this month. Why? I don't know. But I'm going to read it this month, and nothing's going to stop me. Nothing's going to stop me. What does this follow? I'm not too sure. I do know it's based in Oxford. It is a high fantasy, and it deals with, like, I don't know if it's appropriation of cultures, but I do know it's like a mixing pot. That's the best way I can describe it in my current state of cultures. So, yeah, I'm excited because I've never read an R.F. Kuang book, and I've heard her writing is amazing. And I want to catch up before her new book, Calabasas, comes out, but I think I might already be too late. But it's okay, because after this, I'm going to read the Poppy War trilogy, Hope I Don't Cry, and then go to Calabasas. So, yeah. And next, this is last but not least, we got to keep the mental health going in 2025. And so I have The Four Agreements and the Mastery of Love by Don Miguel Ruiz. I think that's how you say it. I'm not completely sure. These ones will also probably get taken with me on my trip next week, but I've had these for so long and I've never finished them. And I feel like I'm not doing my part on my own health, mental wise, or just in my own regards. I'm not doing my part by never finishing these and having them. And so this is the year to finish them. And I'm going to get the other two as well because I'm pretty sure it's a 4-part series or maybe 5. But I will have the whole collection and I will read all of them because I've heard so many. Well, number one, I've started both of these books and they were already amazing. And number two, I've heard so many good things about them and what they've done for people. And if I hear what's being said, why not take the steps? If you're not doing it, you're already harming yourself. Is something I've heard people say, and now go about myself because if you want to do it and you not doing it is already harming yourself. So these will be read this month, and they're so short that I could finish them in a day, which is why I'm surprised I haven't finished them already. But it's okay. But those are all. Oh wait, are those all? Yes, but I forgot it. I forgot something. Those are all my books that I read during the month of March. But the book I'm currently reading is from a little book club I'm in. It's literally only 3 of us, and I met these girls through Zen, and they're literally the sweetest girls ever. And they put me in their book club, and they got me a little sticker. I don't have the sticker yet, but I will have the sticker. Um, I'm reading Bound by Honor by Cora Riley. I think that's how you say it. It'll pop up on the screen. But I'm reading that, and it's like a mafia romance. I've never read mafia before, besides like when I was in middle school on Wattpad. So I've never read like a genuine mafia book before. I do mess with it. I started it. I'm like 10% of the way through, but I'll also be finishing that this month. I already started it, so I didn't put it on my TBR, but it was supposed to be what I'm currently reading, and then I do my TBR. But okay, I'm yapping. But yeah, and though that's like a wrap up of that. But I don't stick to anything I say, which I gotta work on, which I have to work on. I know I do. I know I do. But this next category is called special mentions for books that might get picked up this month instead of some of the books on the TBR. And I felt like it was important for me to do this because I'm so wishy washy about how I read. Like, it could be a day, it could be an hour later, and I'll be like, I don't want to read this anymore. And I'll go drop the book and pick up a different book. So this is just like I said them, I mentioned them, and so that means that like I'm still sticking by my word. You know what I mean? But the first book is Scythe by Neal Shusterman. This is my favorite book of all time. No, I haven't finished the series, but that doesn't mean it can be my favorite book of all time. I love this book so much that I plan on rereading it this month. If not, well, not this month, but this year, because he was picked up for a TV show. The book was picked up for a TV show, and that makes me so excited. Like middle school Tamia is kicking her feet right now, but it's okay. I plan on rereading this. If you don't know what it's about, it's a dystopia. It's kind of like the last of its kind, in that like Hunger Games, Maze Runner type, the Divergent type feel. It's about this world where death is not a thing, but it is a thing. Let me explain. Instead of dying, you could go out. I gotta be careful of how I word my stuff. You could go out and like jump off a cliff right now and you wouldn't be dead, or someone can mug you and kill you and you wouldn't be dead because they can bring everyone, and it is mandatory to bring everyone back to life. It's like an easy step process. I don't know, and it's kind of I don't even okay. It's like layer. It's a deep okay. So, with that being said, death to the normal person cannot happen, but there's these people called scythes, and they control the population. Now, like with anything governmental, there is corrupt and uncorrupt, I guess you would say. So the book kind of follows that kind of idea, but the main characters is a boy and a girl who are apprentices to Scythe. And it's just following their journey. The first book, at the very least, just follows their journey up through their apprenticeship with their scythe and all of that, and it's so interesting. It's such an amazing book. The character I recommend this book to everyone, to adults, to children, to people my age, to people in high school, to people in middle school. I love this book, so I will be reading it again. I don't know why I keep moving away from the camera, but the next book that's on the possible rotation is Almost There by Ferrera Rashan. I don't know if that's how you say it. start there, but it's okay. But this is a Princess and the Frog retelling, and I don't know if you see my skin color. I'm a black girl, so I love the Princess and the Frog. And when I was going to the bookstore, this is also an old book I've had and she's never finished. But when I was going to the bookstore and I saw this in like middle school or high school, I said I need it. So I grabbed hers and Rapunzel's. So I have Rapunzel's over here too. I started it, didn't finish it, but that one will probably be. I'll probably read this one first and then go to that one. So whenever this one gets a video done on it, that one's coming right after. Just know that. But it is what if Tiana made a deal that changed everything? So I'm guessing she made a deal with the Shadow Man, but each book in this series is a retelling about what if, essentially like the Marvel show, like the What If on Disney Plus. Just what if things went differently? Why do I keep saying what if? Is there a counter on the screen? Probably. But yes, I'm really excited to get this one, especially like I love Princess and the Frog. Like it's Princess Tiana. Like she gonna do anything to get that restaurant, and I wonder what they did to like incorporate Naveen into the storyline. But yeah, that's it. That's it. That's all. Um, I just have a pile of books over here. It's so funny. But lastly, any other books that could potentially be read will be anything in the Bound by series, the one I mentioned earlier for my currently reading. That is part of a series that, like I said, the little book club I have decided to read. I joined late, or like late. They're two friends, and then I kind of joined in. But I joined late, and so I'm trying to catch up. And so they want me to read the first through the third one. So it's Bound by Honor is the one I'm currently on, and then there's Bound by Duty and Bound by Hatred, all by Cora Riley. Um, and they both read all three, so it's my turn to read all three now. And then one of the girls, started Fourth Wing, which is also a fantasy that I've been seeing blow up all over TikTok that I've been meaning to get to. She also started it, so that means I'll have to start it at some point this year. But those are some other books that I could also potentially read sometime this March. But I think this month I'll probably end up sticking really close to my TBR I've crafted for y'all in this amazing video. But yeah, I apologize for not recording more because I don't know. I just be busy, yo. I just be lifing. Life be hitting me, but I be hitting it back. This is my first book video. I hope y'all liked. I will get better at these eventually, but yeah, come back for the next one. I guess. I think it'll be a vlog next or something. I don't know. I got like 2 videos sitting in my camera since December, and I ain't touch them, but they'll get uploaded eventually. So I'll see y'all. Y'all have a. When do y'all watch it? Comment down below. When you watch it. Whenever. What is it that? Have y'all seen Truman Show? Good morning, good evening, and good night. So, okay, bye.